Hey, welcome back to Frank's Model Works. I'm Frank. Been a rough week, not gonna lie. But I did get to talk to my friend Frizzo today, so that's good. We're back on the series of preparing your body from start to finish. How you would prepare a model car body for priming, painting, and everything. It's all gonna be, it's all inclusive. I mean, you guys bought the premium package. So anyway, with my last video, there was a little bit of confusion as to what specific kit I was talking about when referring to the 69 Charger. So to reiterate, and just so we're clear, because I don't want any confusion, because it's me. It's not you. It's never you. It's me. This is the kit we're talking about. It's branded as Revell only. It says Revell Muscle. It's got a blue charger on the front, and it is dated 2011. So this one has the for 69 Chargers. That has the characteristics that we're looking for. So that if you want to build either a 68, if you want to build the 68 with a vinyl top already on it, you can change out the body with your 68 kit with this one. So, just so we're clear. Now, I did provide a link to Raoul's Revell Charger kit history. I'm going to provide that link again. I really watch all of his kit histories. Phenomenal stuff. Lucas C is also starting to do a series called Kit Genealogy. Check that out as well. I'll provide a link. Everybody gets links. You get a link. You get a link. Frizzo gets a link. Did I tell you it's been a hell of a week? It's been a hell of a week. I'm 10 feet away from the spray booth and I'm acting like this. It's a good thing I'm not going anywhere near it. Alright, so, like I said in the last video, Dick Land deboxing. This says 68 Dodge Charger. Problem with that is this kit contains... Oh, also, there is a boxing of the 69 Charger that says Revell monogram and has a blue charger on it. It's from about 1997. That kit has a molded in vinyl top. It doesn't have the chop top, which we're going to talk about in a second, but it does have the rectangular 69 typical side marker lights molded into the body. So in order to use that for 68, you'd have to putty over those, get rid of them, and replace them with round ones. But anyway, back to the 68 Dick Landy's Charger. So now this, like I said in the last video, has molded in the rectangular lights, marker lights, of a 69, even though it's supposed to be a 68. So this is a little bit spendy. They pay collectors prices. So I don't know if you'd want to go that way, but if you have a bunch of these, say you bought a bunch of these when they were new, like 23 years ago. What's the year on this? 1999, year I got married. So lucky girl. Very, very lucky girl. So if you bought a bunch of these, yeah, this is great. This is great for doing a non-vinyl top 69 Charger. If you have a bunch of kits lying around. Now, finally, in their genealogy, another kit you have to know about was the original one. This boxing, Pro Modeler. It has all the parts, but as you'll see when I put you up there, there's a slight problem with the body. But it's not necessarily the end of the world. And you could still use it. Everybody relax. Calm down. I'm the only one that seems to be wired up right now. Alright, let me put you up there and we'll continue our little discussion. Okay, so if you remember from last week, we were working with these three bodies. Now, these two right here are out of a 68 Charger boxing from 2008. This one is from the 2011 69 Charger boxing, which is this one. It has no molded in marker lights at all, and it has the vinyl top molded in. So you could use this, just to reiterate, just so we're clear, just so we're all on the same page. You can use this body out of this kit interchangeably with a 68 charger and just swap around the grill parts and the valance parts. They will fit. So just so we're clear, and we're going to be working with these in a couple of minutes. But I wanted to touch on this body right here. This is out of the Pro Modeler kit. This was the original issue of this kit. Now, if you come across, before I say that, this body has a slight problem with it, and even me, a goofball who doesn't really notice much, I can look at this body and see that the roof line is too low. But just to prove that point, I have the calipers right here, and we will demonstrate. I gotta do something about these things. They turn themselves on. Whatever. So I'm gonna go into the notch for the door. I'm gonna rest it in there. And do we see a reading? We got 10.26. Now let me make sure I'm perpendicular. So just remember that. Oh, 10.36. Can I hear 10.46? 10.37. All right, never mind. So I'll take this body, which is a 69 charger body. This is a later issue of the kit. Get that in there. So there you have it. 12.92. So when you put the bodies close together, you can kind of see why people flipped when this kit originally came out, because it's obviously that this has a top top. Oh, rough week. All right, so now if you come across one of these kits, should you buy it? If it's cheap, yeah, because there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that's pretty useful, like the Hemi, the Magnum 500s. These wheels are pretty cool. Comes with it. It also comes with a set of, albeit an old one, comes with a set of Redline tires. One of the first times that Revell in modern times put Redline tires in a kit. So, I mean, this is good for parts. If you get it cheap, by all means, grab it. It comes with like an engine stand. If you're gonna get it cheap, grab it. And not for nothing, you could probably make a nice Pro Street out of that. You know, with or you know, one of those Pro Mods with a ridiculous wing coming off there. Why not? If you get it for cheap, why not buy it? Not that I'm telling you what to do. I mean, who am I? Just Frank. All right, let's put this over here. Let's put the calipers away. I'll turn them off, but somehow they'll turn themselves back on. It's because they're cheap. Okay. Ooh. My calipers almost fell. Then they wouldn't calibrate. Let's get all this stuff out of the way so we can now concentrate on these bodies. So in this video, besides the clarification, we are going to go over, number one, fixing the issue in the fender well. So now this kit has a slight issue where we might get away with it. Where's the other 68? This is the one. So we got to get in here and add some material. We're going to have to remove some material and then add some in order to fix this little short shot in the trim. And it's just like I did with the 69 Camaro. It's basically going to be the same thing. All right. So we don't really have to do it on the 69 body. Oh, actually, yeah, we do. We kind of do, because it is there. Huh. And this one doesn't show it very much, but I would be more comfortable with just doing it. So if you see this character line right here, I'm going to chop in here and then cut up so that I can replace what I remove with this, which I used previously. This is Evergreen Scale Models number 8206 HO Scale 2x6. If I get that in here, you'll see that the profile is similar to the width of the existing chrome trim. So I can get that in there, file it down, and shape it so that we can replace whatever's short shot. And we'll have a consistent radius of trim that goes around this fender well. Okay, let me set up for that, and well, I can just keep it rolling. In fact, we're gonna just focus on one body for now. So to begin, let me take my glasses off so I can see. Let me move the light over so I can see better, because my eyes they're not so good anymore. All right, do I really need to go up this high? Let's see. No, I don't think I need to go up that high. So I think I'm gonna hit it right here. So now I have a newish number 11 blade. I'm gonna come in here where I've marked. I'm gonna ride that in there, back and forth. I'm just gonna let the blade sink in. Then I'm gonna come up this way very carefully. I'm not in a rush. And we're gonna remove up to where I cut it. So I did that there. So now I'm going to profile that line so that I have a good solid and straight foundation to lay in. You want this to be as straight as possible, because if this is like a curvy line, what's going to happen is the liquid cement is going to get in here and bubbles are going to push out. Bubbles are fine at the vertical edge right here where it meets this chrome trim, but bubbles between this panel and the piece of styrene you're going to be adding is a pain in the neck to sand. It's harder to sand. So we want this surface to be as straight as possible. Get that straight. And just so I'm not going to confuse myself, I'm gonna erase with a little bit of sanding the Sharpie, just so I'm not, because I'll hyperfixate on that and then I'll wind up over sanding. And if there is a word to describe your pal Frank from Frank Model Works, it is hyperfixate. Holy cow, drive these poor people crazy in this house. But you know, they get to live with me, which who wouldn't? I mean, come on. So now I have a nice little, see that? Let's see if I can get you in there. Are you focused? There we go. See how I took out that little piece of material and it looks relatively straight? So that's where we're gonna put our little piece of styrene. Let's get our glue ready so we can knock it over and destroy this cutting mat like I already did. Told you guys about that. Oh boy. So we're gonna cut this a little bit long, but not super long, not super short either. So we wanna be able to hold on to something while we do this operation. And what we're gonna try to do is glue this piece in such a way that this edge, the inside edge of this styrene, is almost flush. Not quite, but almost. So it gives us a little bit of wiggle room so that we can shape this with files and sanding it and get it to the size that we need. Okay? So let's do that now. Try not to make a bubbling up of glue. Okay, so that's on there. Is it on there? Probably not. Okay. It's on there enough. How about the inside? The inside's okay. We're a little tight. We're a little tight up against the line, and at this point right here, but it's not bad. It's workable. This ain't rocket surgery, kiddies. So, what I will do is this. Let me give it a little more glow, just so I can create the bubbles that I've been trying to avoid and annoy myself. This hobby's supposed to be fun. How we doing on profile? Doing okay. You guys talk too much. Sorry. Sorry, bud. Let me make sure that's on, so I don't, when I knock it over, it's not going to leak out. So that's on there. This will set up relatively quickly. I could take a little bit of it off for now, so it's less for me to hit and flick off. I almost just flicked it off right now, because when I did this, I looked up at the screen and not at what I was doing. Okay. So I don't want to start doing anything else. Let me put you on hold for a second, and I will be right back. Once this gets a chance to firm up a little more, and it's okay to start working it. Okay? Hold on. Okay, setting up for this shot took a lot longer than I thought it would. It's the next day. I was just entirely too tired yesterday, which is why I was probably acting goofy. So I figured it's better to just glue on the piece of styrene, wait for it to dry. In the interim, it's now the next day, Friday, June 14th. In the interim, I already did the fender well fix on one of the other 68 charges, and I also did it on the 69 charger. So you could see if that'll focus. You could see what I did there. It's a little bit, I still got to work that a little bit, but that's what priming's for. We'll prime it, we'll see what more we need to do. So this one's looking a little bit better, as you can see. So now this one I'm going to do on camera, and I'm going to use these, the DSPIAE that I said I was going to use. I'm going to start with 400. Let's grab this one, see how this does. And I'm also going to need a flat file. I use a Tamiya file, but if you can get a set of nice small files, you know, for your modeling uses, you're better off. So, as I did with the 69 Camaro when I fixed, because pressure in this direction could just flick this piece of plastic off, I'm going to shape in a vertical motion relative to the body of the car. So I'm first going to get the shape towards, because it tapers in this way. So you could see at this angle what I'm taking this, and I'm going to taper this in towards the edge. And I'm going to leave this a little proud and then work the contour correctly. Mid-June, and my allergies are still killing me. So as you can see, that's starting to shape it pretty quickly. This stuff is actually pretty nice. This DSPIAE, I like. Can't beat the price. $9.49. houseofhobbies.com. Tell them I said hello. They'll be like, who? I almost flicked it off. Because the way I was doing it, I grabbed it and almost ripped it off. So now I'm working the bottom profile to get it flush with this. And it's a process. There's no rush. Take your time. Nice and easy. If you notice, I'm trying not to get into this part right here. Although with the 69 Camaro, it was more of an issue because there was a piece of molding here. There's nothing here, so it's actually a little bit easier than the 69 Camaro was. If you haven't watched that video, please feel free. And if this is your first experience with me fixing the molding on a model car, I understand you might use quarter round to half round, and I can understand, like, if I would probably use quarter round to half round styrene if I was adding chrome trim that wasn't there. But this, because of the profile of this, I find that the Evergreen HO Scale 2x6 is a better fit. It's easier to shape. It's easier to conform to this profile. And it's just, I think it's an overall better application for this specific type of repair, like a short shot in existing molding. But the minute they saw that I wasn't using what they used, they already dipped out and hit the comments. So I look forward to writing that in reply to them. But, you know, I get it. We all want to help. We all want to... I get it. I'm not mad. I'm just saying. Is all. So, work the inner profile. Let's see if that's filming. Yeah, it's filming. All right. So... So, let's see. Where do we have to get this to at this point? So here's how it looks so far. Obviously, we still have this gap right here. There's a gap and a step. We're gonna have to finesse that because this material is a little bit thick. So what we'll do is we'll begin to taper towards this edge, and then we still have to do this profile to even up this dimension right here. So we'll continue to work. Let's see this, you know, this way you have an example of using both the file and the sanding sponge. Same thing, just there's no rush. You don't have to get it all off in one pass. In fact, it's probably not a good idea. Because if the harder you push, the more damage you could do if you slip. So, let's see, how do we look? We're getting close on the inner edge here. And we still have a little bit of work to do over here. Ideally, you want to get this with as little filler or no filler if at all possible, because then it becomes a little more complicated and you're kind of chasing it at that point. And the last thing you want to do when you're shaping something is chase it. So you want to take off as little as you can at a time. Let's try to start getting in here. and work this dimension so that there's no step. Now this is dangerous because I'm pushing up against where it's glued, so this is such a light touch right now. Oh, what am I doing with this? Get this out of here. We're using DSPIAE, Frank. I just instinctively go to my right to get... Let me put this to my right so that I'll have to lean that way to get it anyway. So now I'm stepping up to 600. Because I want to remove less material with each swipe. And again, this is a finesse thing. You might not get it on your first try. You might wind up chasing it. But stick with it, because like me knowing that this is here, every time I look at, if I build a model having not fixed this, I will, my eye will go directly to this if there's a problem for the rest of the time that I have the model. So I think we're getting close. Try not to erase this character line. It's kind of important. It's part of the design of the car that makes it pretty. It's the lines. So I think this is looking okay. So I think this one's okay. And what we'll continue to do is soften and smooth and make things nice. Step this up to 800. I'm not going to put these back inside there until I clean them, because I want to keep these. These are pretty cool. You also want to make it, because I'm going to foil trim these when I'm done painting the bodies. Wow, this series is going to be long. Holy cow. I tell you, you guys keep me busy. I think there's a bee in the basement with me. That's not good. That is definitely not good. I don't know how he would have gotten in here. All right, unless somebody left their door open. My wife and my daughter are in the yard. So we're gonna work on this vestigial nub. And I'm gonna first use what pretty much everybody is gonna have on hand. And that's a trusty number 11 blade in an X-Acto knife. So we're gonna rock back and forth. We're not gonna take the whole thing off at one time. We're gonna work this a little bit at a time so that we have minimal amounts of cleanup. And I just realized that my middle finger back here is in a dangerous spot. So let me just move that and do this. And do this. So if you see that little white spot, that's what I'm actually removing. That's what's called a vestigial nub. So that is what's left, because this mold and the 69
mold with the vinyl top, or created from the same mold. That's what's left over of the trim that would go around the vinyl top. So that's why that's there. That's what happened. There it goes. It just went. So now we got a little divot in there. Not to worry. We're going to use one of these. These are widely available. Just going to pop in here for a quick voiceover. I got the name of these wrong. They're by a company called Lumberton. They're available on Amazon. I'll have a link in the description. The frames aren't necessarily, they're supposed to be color coded according to whatever sanding belt goes on them. So the set itself comes with a blue, which is 240 grit, green, which is 320 grit, yellow, which is 400 grit, and black, which is 500 grit. So hope that clears that up. So there will be a link in the description. Back to the regularly scheduled stupidity. So to get in here, because we have to get rid of the mold separation line and what's left of this nub. So we're going to come in here like this, and we're going to get in there, and we're going to work that. So now you'll notice I'm erasing the Sharpie, and that's a good indication that you did a halfway decent job of getting rid of the mold separation line. If the Sharpie's gone, most of the line is probably gone, but you know, you're gonna have to work it and smooth it. And this is something, I mean, you can leave these if you want. If you're just putting your models on the shelf and you're enjoying them, whatever you want to do with them, that's up to you. You don't have to. I just want to show you how I do it, because like these are things that drive me crazy if I don't do them. But you don't have to be like me. In fact, what do I always say? If you are like me, that's right, you have my condolences. So we're going to get in here. I can already see that there's still a little bit of the nub in there. So we don't want to wear a ridge into this area, because then that's going to create a need for filling. We want to remove the nub and the mold separation line, and then have enough plastic so that we haven't sanded a divot into the area. And this right here, if you're removing mold separation lines on any of these cars, this is the one right here. That's the one that's going to pop up and show up. If you're not careful, this thing will always, if you paint it with lacquer, this is always going to bloom on you. Happens a lot. Happens on almost every one of these, and then I'm chasing it during the priming stage. I believe, trying to see. Never mind. So I'm just pushing that away to get rid of it. You could see it's still there, very faintly. See how it's still very slightly there. Let's go back to 400 on the DSPIAE and get in there. So as far as the panel lines, the mold separation lines in other spots, if you erase your Sharpie marks, they're pretty much gone. I mean, you don't have to, especially since this is a peaked body line, character line. So you don't really want to flatten this out and round it over by removing too much material. So in this area, we're going to dress this. Let me see. I'm just gonna look up against the light with this. Yeah, it's still in there. I mean, you can see the line still, and I can't feel it, but I can see it when I look at it up against the light. So it would definitely, like if I use splash surfacer on this body, it might bring that line right up to the surface, and you'll see it. Splash is kind of on the hotter-ish side. I believe I haven't picked the colors yet that I'm going to paint these bodies, but I am pretty sure, because I have a very large collection of Mopar colors from MCW, I do believe I'm going to be using MCW paints, their primer, and their 1K lacquer clear coat, which does a very convincing job, believe it or not. The folks at MCW, they put out a nice product, and have for a very long time. Very, very nice stuff. Almost Frank proof. Nothing is fully ever Frank proof, because I am prodigious in my stupidity. Like I can screw up in ways that people in product development would never even think of doing. They'd be stunned. He did what? Alright, let me give it one last look. I think we got it. I think we got most of it. There might be, actually, look, if you look right here, right there, it might have a little bit of a divot or something left in there. I tell you what, this is hard to do where I'm trying to get it on camera. Ain't easy. Yeah, I got a little divot. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Might have to start chasing it. I don't think this is something that a file is gonna work. It's a little too tight for a file. So what I've got to do now is I'm gonna remove the rest of the mold separation lines on this body. Wherever I have Sharpie, I'm gonna remove. Okay, I'm bringing you back in for the this is the body out of the 69 Charger, the 2011 issue. Since we're going to be removing mold separation line stuff that's going on in this area here, and because there is a slight texture for the vinyl roof, we're gonna have to replace that texture. But what I'm going to do in order to reduce the amount that we're gonna have to replace, I'm just gonna be really careful in the area where this chrome trim is, and try to minimize, or at the very least limit my sanding to this area right here. The I don't know, it's just, I guess it's the B pillar. It wouldn't be the C pillar. I don't know. I can see it, so it's a C pillar. It's a hard top, so I guess it's a B pillar. Whatever. Whatever, Frank. Just sand the body and release the video. Alright, so I'm going to finish doing that, and as I'm cleaning up the mold separation lines on each of the bodies, I'm hitting them with another coat of Tamiya primer just to see where we stand. And when I come back, I'll sum up what we did on this installment. Okay, hold on a second. So how did we do? Okay, I'm going to show you. This one is the fender well of one of the 68 bodies, and let's see if we can, if that's, hopefully that's focusing. Yeah, it looks like it might be focusing. So that looks okay. How did we do in this area? I think we've removed the vestigial nub. We don't have much in the way of witnesses for the mold separation line in this area, and the nub on this side looks to be about gone. Now you might be able to see a slight texture. That's just because I didn't polish the plastic down to the level of the rest of it, so it might appear rough. But as we do finish sanding and more work and body preparation, like I've said before, working on a body is, you build a foundation almost like a building. So that's why we go through all these steps. Now this was the one that I used a chisel that I discussed with Terry Wilson that I was gonna use. It came out okay. Okay. It appears to have been alleviated of the vestigial nub. And here's the fender well trim repair. If you could see that. Can you see that? Hopefully you can. So, and then on the body that came out of the 2011 69 Charger kit, you could see over here we preserved the chrome trim that goes along the base fairly well. We removed the witnesses of the mold separation lines, and then we'll eventually replace the texture to the vinyl top lost in the sanding process. The fender well trim is repaired. It looks good. Here's the other side. So you can see there we have good definition, and we're well on our way. All right, hold on a second and I'll talk to you some more. Okay, so the three bodies have had their fender wells fixed. On the two 68 Chargers, I fixed the vestigial nubs of the chrome trim that's a remnant of the body with the vinyl top. I removed the mold parting lines, although I think I said that already, and I gave them another coat of Tamiya primer just to see where we're at. By no means am I about to say that these are ready to be painted, although you probably could, you know, at this point get away with color coats. There's just these particular bodies have very well defined panel lines, and by this time I really mean panel lines, like the door lines and the body panels and stuff like that. They're very well defined. So my experience with them has been I haven't really had to gone over them, but I would like to, in the next episode, replace some detail that might have been lost in the process of cleaning up the mold separation lines and sanding off the mold separation lines. Particularly on this body, because there is a texture to the vinyl top that I have something that I'll show you in the next episode. So stay tuned for that to replace the texture that was lost due to the sanding process. As far as the tools go, I will have links to the Lumberton sanding sticks, the UMM micro chisels, the Tamiya files, whatever. I'll have a link to this rubber block that I use to clean out my sanding media. And let me put this body down. In the next episode, we're going to be using these broaches by MRP to replace whatever panel line detail we need to replace. And as again in this video, as in the last episode, these DSPIAE sanding sticks were, well, they're really sanding foam, were phenomenal. So I'll put you up on the tripod and we'll sum up. Hold on.
So we got some solid foundation work done on getting these bodies ready for paint. From this point forward, we're gonna slow things down a little bit. Just try to keep something in mind. None of this is required. Like if you just want to slap something together, spray paint it in your backyard, do whatever you want, just do it if that's what makes you happy. You don't have to do any of this stuff. Don't feel that like my video tutorial series are like pressuring you into doing something you don't want to do. It's the last thing I'd want to do. I don't want you to hinder yourself in any way. But if you decide, all right, I want to take things to the next level and get things ready, or if you're going to be displaying something at a contest, not necessarily even at an NNL, because NNLs aren't judged, but if you are going to put something on a table for a contest, removing mold separation lines is definitely something that they're going to do. They're going to look for. So you got to be careful with that. So with that in mind, please stay tuned for the next episode where we restore whatever detail we might have lost in the process of doing what we did in this video. I said that these videos are supposed to not be that long, but this one might be a little bit longer. I apologize for that. And I'm trying to get as much information to you as I possibly can without leaving you with more questions, so that you can watch the video, know what I'm talking about, know what I'm doing, and then be ready for the next video. Or even in between while you're waiting, just apply them yourself. Take out a body, take out a kit that you know, maybe you have something in the stash just to practice on. Give it a shot. So, as always, I got Frizzo's back. I'm recording this the night before Father's Day 2024. So to all the dads out there, happy Father's Day. If you're watching this on Father's Day, naturally, happy Father's Day. If you're not watching this on Father's Day, and this makes absolutely no sense, you should get used to that. There's a lot of that on this channel. So, like I said, I got Frizzo's back. I appreciate your support. And until we speak again, my friends, take care of yourselves and be well.